Drugs crossing the U.S.-Mexico border on the backs of illegal immigrants. It's a problem that is carving a path right into the backyards of West Texas.
Backpackers like this group, which were caught carrying around 50 pounds of marijuana each over treacherous land in the Big Bend area.
Our special report, Border Watch, CBS 7's Macey Meriggi travels to the border to get a first-hand look at how Border Patrol agents are trying to put a stop to a problem that is harder to track than you might think. Macey?
The beauty of the Big Bend region brings thousands of visitors to the area every year, but not all are documented or welcome.
It doesn't matter who you are. The country is rough and hard on people, especially when you're out there on foot, and that's what we do when we're out tracking and looking for people that have crossed the border illegally.
And despite the peril they face, still immigrants test their luck crossing the border each and every day. After spending a good part of a day with Border Patrol agent Rush Carter, photojournalist Adrian Escajeda and I learned it's no easy task tracking these immigrant groups in the Big Bend sector.
Agents will walk, depending on where they're tracking and what they're doing, 3 to 5 miles, and end up having to go turn around and walk back 3 to 5 to get back to their vehicle. And it could be anywhere from a mile to 10 in a day. Presidio agents, they found some tracks for a group that had crossed the river sometime yesterday, and so they have followed those tracks up into the mountains that you see behind us. Everything around that.
Agents only know that tracks have been spotted and that there's a group of about 10 to 15 people trekking through who crossed the border illegally. An agent like Ruben Leyva could spend an entire shift staring at these two monitors in the middle of a cattle ranch off the beaten path.
So now I could just sit here and pan my cameras back and forth, and this will let me know whether there's a group, animal, and I could kind of get in that area, zoom in. This gives us the advantage of having one person on a high spot and just look all around, and until I see something, then call in the guys or for support.
While technology makes finding a needle in a haystack more feasible, it all comes down to boots on the ground.
I'm just looking for any kind of disturbance or a footprint or mashed grass, kicked over rocks that would indicate that a group of people walked through this area.
Once agents have detected a group, agents will start leapfrogging to try to cut the group off, rather than following them footstep for footstep.
I just saw this dirt out of place right here that looked like something had disturbed it. A lot of times on a fence line, when people are crossing, they're pushing the fence down, and as they maneuver, then their foot is going to twist and leave marks like that.
It's more than just footprints in the dirt for these agents. They're hunting for what they call sign. On dirt roads, sign would appear as a footprint.
The fresh dirt, you can actually see part of a track right here from my shoe. But just the difference in, this is all settled, it's been rained on, and it's pristine, whereas this is disturbed.
To the naked eye, the lack of physical prints would rule out any movement pattern here. That's because the pack of immigrants making their way through the Big Bend area are using new tactics they hope will make them harder to track.
This particular group is using a tactic that we've started to see frequently here, and that's gluing pieces of carpet on the bottom of their shoes, and makes it difficult for us to distinguish that that's a footprint on the ground.
But sometimes you find a diamond in the rough.
This would be like the bingo moment here, and there's nobody out here for miles and miles and miles and miles. So it's not like you're just going to run across a random track somewhere. As we move up here, there's other sign, ways that you can tell these kicked over rocks. This happens a lot when there's no place really to leave a footprint. So you can see how this piece of brush here, it's been stepped on, and that you can see the green color right here, so you know it's fresh. If that had been mashed over and it sat out here in the sun for a week, it'd be all dried up and dead. But that shows you that it's a fresh break on that branch, and so it gives you a time frame of you know, how far behind you are from somebody and that you're on the right trail if this is all you're looking at.
Despite covering miles of tracks, today's crew turns up empty-handed, with potential drug smugglers possibly days ahead of them. But with 500,000 square miles to cover, there's always a chance they'll find that the trail has gone cold. Reporting in the Big Bend for CBS 7 News, I'm Macey Meriggi.